So now I'd like to call up Jenny Marks.
So in June of 1995, I was celebrating my 8th grade graduation. And at that time, I was from a small community, and we were able to celebrate by handing out awards. And one of the awards that they gave that evening was who was most likely to become what when they got older. And surprisingly, the award I received that evening was most likely to become the first female president. Now, if you were to ask my parents or my siblings or my friends why or even how I got that award, they would probably say it was because I was bossy. Actually, really bossy. Now, I look back, and it's taken several years to look back on that moment. And I don't look back on that moment because it makes me feel special, because somebody actually believed I was capable of accomplishing something that great. I look back because it gives me an insight of the generation that we're living in. See, it's this generation that believes that that's actually possible. Now, I may have not become the first female president yet, but I believe I've done something greater than that. I became president and leader of my own life. And in the year 2000, I hopped on a plane and went clear to the other side of the United States. And for 3 months, I would undergo some of the toughest training I had ever gone through up to that point in my life. And it was there that I would do a 4-year commitment. But it was during that 4 years that something greater would occur, something that would forever change my life and the life of those around me. September 11th, 2001. After that day, I was deployed for 7 months. And at the end of that 7-month deployment, I was given 5 days to come home and say goodbye to my family, yet for another deployment, but this time in Iraq. See, it was a hard time for my family for 2 reasons. The first reason was because they didn't know whether I was in harm's way. And even if I was, there was nothing they could do about it. The second reason was because every time there was a knock at the door or there was that phone ring, they would get that gut-wrenching feeling, that sinking feeling in their stomach, not knowing when they picked up that phone if it was, "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Marks. Your daughter died today, giving the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you." Now we fast forward, and I look back, and in this photo behind me, I see a girl who flew in clear across the other side of the country, took her first step into the sand, into Kuwait. And she is patiently waiting to cross that imaginary line to go into Iraq to serve her country. I see a girl who doesn't yet know what's coming her way. And in this photo, I see a completely different woman. I see a woman that is tired, that is dirty, and has cut herself off completely from her family and her community. I see a woman that has taught herself how to shut off all her emotions just so that she could get through the day. I mean, after all, she was a Marine. You can't be weak. And on top of that, she was a female Marine. She was the only Marine in her entire platoon. So that left 0 room for emotions. Now, at the end of my 3rd deployment, I would be sent home back to Camp Pendleton, where I would finish the rest of my enlistment, which was a remainder of 4 months. And at the end of that 4 months, I was given my honorable discharge papers, sent on my way. Thank you for your service. Now, coming home was a whole nother entire different war itself. It wasn't because I didn't struggle because of the things that happened to me in Iraq. I struggled because of the things I lost when I came home. I lost my sense of purpose. My platoon was gone. My motivation, gone. I went from being a hero to a zero, literally overnight. I went from serving my country the best way I knew how to struggling to find meaningful employment. It wasn't until my last term at Oregon State University that I was introduced to a man named Nick Lapham, who later then introduced me to 3 more amazing civilians, Anna, Nora, and Elizabeth. And together, as strangers, we created this nonprofit called Full Life Engagement that helps veterans across the country reintegrate back into civilian life. It was because of these civilians, these strangers, my friends and family, and my community, that I was able to find my sense of purpose again, that I was able to find meaning in my life again. Now, there are 3 things you can do right now to help a veteran in your community or in your life. You can donate your time at any local veteran organization. And if you don't have the time, you can donate money. You can let your actions speak. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. It's that simple. But most importantly, show your love and respect. I'm going to go a little bit further tonight, and I'm going to help you be a part of something. I'm going to help you take that first step. You may be sitting next to a veteran right now, and you may not know it. But on your behalf, on this community's behalf, I have written a letter to that veteran that may be sitting next to you. Dear veteran, as you continue to march forward as a civilian, know that you are not alone and that your service to this beautiful country matters, but most importantly, you matter. Your sacrifice and the sacrifice of those you served with is not forgotten. I remember. Your family remembers. Your community remembers. There will be days when you may feel lost, angry, and that your sense of purpose is forever gone. Those are the times I want you to take a deep breath and breathe. Breathe. Stop blaming yourself or second-guessing the outcomes of the past. It will get you nowhere. Instead, focus on the future, one step at a time. Understand there are many mistakes you will make, but remember, they are just that, a mistake. Learn from them and keep your boots on the ground. Without those mistakes, you will never learn how to be true to yourself. Don't be afraid to share your story out of fear of judgment. Be afraid your story and the story of those that you served with will not be told. So speak up and let your story be heard. Lastly, remember to cry. There is no such thing as weakness or hopelessness in crying. In fact, some of the strongest forces in life are made of water. Above all, keep shining, keep your chin held high, and know, no matter what others seem to believe about your military experience, I think you're great, already talented, already brave, and already amazing. Thank you from the top and bottom of our hearts. Love your community and welcome home. Thank you.